Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Vidya Vikas Education Society and Swami Shamanand Education Society, I, Mrs. Vijaya Radhakrishnan, Headmistress of Vikas High School English Primary, welcome one and all for today's webinar. Before we start the session, I would like to say a few words about our institution. Our great institution, Vikas High School, has been a house, or shall we say a Gurukul, which imparts education right from KG to secondary and till PG. This institution was established in the year 1962 under the aegis of Vidya Vikas Education Society and Swami Shamanand Education Society in the year 1987. At present, 20 units are successfully imparting knowledge to students. The institute also imparts vocational skills along with conventional education. Currently, there are about 400 employees and 11,000 students. The credit of establishing this great institution goes to our Honorable Shri P.M. Raut sir. The hard work and sacrifice bore fruit. For his excellent work in the field of education, he was bestowed with the National Teacher Award in the year 1994 by our late President of India, Shri Shankar Dayal Sharma. Besides this, he is also the recipient of Rashtriya Shikshak Kalyan Puraskar in the year 1991, Adarsh Nagrik Puraskar in the year 1990, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan Puraskar in the year 2002, and Gunavant Nagrik Puraskar in the year 2011, and Peshwa Morepant Pingle Puraskar in 2018. All through this journey, he was ably supported shoulder to shoulder by our late CEO, Srimati Vidya P. Raut, who is also a recipient of National Teacher Award in the year 2001 at the august hands of our late President of India, Shri APJ Abdul Kalam. I take this privilege to welcome our Chairman of Vidya Vikas Education Society, Shri P.M. Raut sir, for today's webinar. I also take this opportunity to welcome the Secretary of Vidya Vikas Education Society, Dr. Shri Vinay P. Raut sir, who is the recipient of Yuva Bhushan Puraskar and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Adarsh Shikshak Puraskar. I also welcome Trustee of Vidya Vikas Education Society and Chief Advisor of Internal Complaint Committee, Srimati Madhavi Nanduskar Madam, Trustee of Vidya Vikas Education Society and Chairperson of Internal Complaint Committee, Dr. Megha Shetty Madam, Management Representative, Srimati Lata Kulkarni, Srimati Manisha Shinde Madam, Principals in charges of all the sections, my dear colleague teachers, parents and students for today's webinar. A very hearty welcome to the speaker of today's session, Advocate Priyanka Rane Patil. Let me begin this introduction with a quote. The empowered woman is powerful beyond measure and beautiful beyond description. Now, is this quote really true, and whether this aptly applies to our Indian society? Today, Today, when a woman ventures out of the house, her family members are scared and doubtful about her safety. When faced with a difficult situation, most women tend to give up their power by thinking they don't have any, which is not correct, and belittling oneself in the wake of a difficult situation. A country is safe when it instills confidence and sense of security in the minds of its citizens, particularly the women and children. Today, when a woman expresses her thoughts fearlessly, she is met with life threat and resistance. No country could boast of its progress when its women population is living in fear. The latest example is Afghanistan. In this country, the rights of women are in great danger. Women and children are executed daily if don't fall in line with fantasism. Now the question will arise in everybody's mind. What is this webinar all about? It's all about Shakti Bill, strengthening women legally, which was introduced in the year 2020 for the rights of women and for empowering them. And this webinar is arranged by the Internal Complaint Committee of our institution, which was formed in the year 2018. The Parliament of India passed the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act in the year 2013. The Act provides protection against sexual harassment and the matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. Educational institutions are bound by the Supreme Court's directive and the Act. Vidya Vikas Education Society is committed to creating and maintaining an environment which is free of all forms of gender biases, sexual harassment, and discrimination on the basis of sex or gender. As directed by the Act and the directives given by the Maharashtra government's resolution dated 19 June 2014, Vidya Vikas Education Society constituted this committee called Internal Complaint Committee on 1st September 2018. Srimati Madhavi Nandaskar Madam is the Chief Advisor and Dr. Megha Shetty Madam is the Chairperson. HMs of all the sections are members of this committee. Now let me introduce our today's speaker. Our today's speaker is Advocate Priyanka Rane Patil, a well-known lawyer practicing at the Bombay High Court and Family Court in Mumbai since 2000. Her educational qualifications are: she is BSL, LLB, ILS Law College. She has completed from Pune in the year 2000. She has completed diploma in medical jurisprudence in the year 2000. And she also holds LLM from Pune University in criminology and in the year 2002. And she is a lawyer practicing at the Bombay High Court and Family Court since 2000. She is appointed by the Government of Maharashtra over Child Welfare Committee, Mumbai, which deals with cases of child sexual abuse, child labor, illegal trafficking, etc. She is also a member of the Sexual Harassment Committee of Mahesh Bhupati Tennis Academy. She is the co-founder of First Lawyers Training Center in India at Sangli in the name of Advocate Vasantrao Patil Lawyers Training Center, which aims at helping young lawyers and law students, especially from talukas and districts, in their career journey. She is the director of ICLER, which conducts various law programs for law students. She has been invited by the United Nations, New York, to speak on sustainable development. She is felicitated at the hands of Supreme Court of Bangladesh for her exemplary work in the field of law. Also felicitated on International Women's Day 2016 as Woman of Substance. She is also invited by many TV channels, NGOs, organizations to speak on legal provisions of law. She has delivered lectures on women empowerment. She has conducted lectures of international jurists and lawyers for Mumbai University. So such an eminent personality today we have as our speaker. Now, before Priyanka Madam starts her talk, I would like to inform you all that after her talk, we will be having an interactive session. And dear friends, if you have any queries after the session, you can feel free to ask her. Now, I invite Advocate Priyanka Rane Patil Madam to start her speech. Over to Priyanka Madam.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Vijaya Radhakrishnan, for the lovely introduction. It's my pleasure to be invited today to such a prestigious institute, which is the Vidya Vikas Education Society Trust. And I would like to thank an institute which has won so many awards in the teaching fraternity, especially Mr. Raut sir and Mrs. Raut. I would especially like to thank Chitnis Kaka, who is like a family to me, and Reshma Chitnis, because of whom I'm here. Further, I would like to thank Lata Kulkarni madam, who was really behind getting me on board, and she was very regular with the follow-ups, be it the minute details, putting me up, reciprocating, and putting up the details. Nextly, I would like to thank Srimati Madhvi Nand Kishore, with Dr. Megha Shetty, Dr. Vinay Raut, Manisha Shinde, and all those who are present here. Today, we are here to speak about the laws that strengthen women and about the Shakti Bill. Now, when we speak about the laws strengthening women, I must say that the awareness regarding the laws strengthening women is really very low. Women are not aware that what are the laws that are really protecting them. And as a family court lawyer or as a high court lawyer, or when I sit there as a magistrate, as a child welfare committee member, I come to know that people are not actually aware of the rights. People are not actually aware the protection. People are not actually aware of what is going around. So I genuinely feel that awareness should be increased. Now, how can you increase the awareness? An education society like yours can take up such awareness programs about the rights protecting the women, children in totality, because they are the most vulnerable people of the society. Now, when we speak about equality, I genuinely feel that there should be no difference between a boy and a girl. So the foundation should be laid down at your home. If you have a boy or a girl, there should be no difference in treating them. पुरुषांनी स्त्रीला समान मानायला हवे, ना की सामान मानायला हवे. So this is very important. This is very relevant. The children are observing you. The children are watching you. The children are enacting you. So what they see in their home is what they will inculcate in their lives further on. So I strongly believe that these foundation at the primary level should be laid out very strong. Now, when you speak about laws that are protecting women, I must say that there are various laws which are there, but people are not genuinely aware of such kind of laws. When you speak about the Domestic Violence Act also, what is a domestic relationship? What is a shared household? All these concepts need to reach out to people. And when you invite such kind of people wherein they can share their experiences, like me as a lawyer or as a child welfare committee member, it really helps. That when we speak about empowering women, this is what we are talking about. There is no force equal to a woman who is determined to rise. So I would like to state here there that if a woman is seriously determined to rise, there's nothing in this world that can stop her. Now, when you speak about this, I would like to quote a few lines in Marathi. And those lines are, आईच्या आईपणाला, बाईच्या बाईपणाला, त्यासाठी लागणाऱ्या हत्तीच्या बळांना आणि तिने सोसलेल्या 9 महिन्यांच्या कळांना माझा कोटी कोटी प्रणाम. I salute this role of a woman in everywhere, or rather as a friend, as a philosopher, as a guide, as a sister, as a mother, as being a woman of that house. I salute every role. And I believe that this kind of education of saluting the role of a woman should be given to everyone and not to a selected few. I'll start with this, that when we speak about this strengthening of the role of women or strengthening of the role of children as such, many people are not even aware what are the rights of children. Or generally people are hesitant to report a case regarding a child abuse also to the police. Now, why this hesitation? Why this reluctance? I'll tell you an example. When I'm actually there on the child welfare committee, a case had come to me 6 years back. So this girl of 7 to 8-year-old, she was taking her rounds at Shivaji Park. She had enrolled herself in one yoga class and she was taking her rounds. Then an unknown person came to her. He was watching her. He came to her and he said that I am your daddy's friend. This is an actual example. So what we read in newspapers or what we hear are what are the actual examples that are happening. So this man came to her and he told her, I'm your daddy's friend and your daddy has met with an accident and we need to go there immediately. Now, while he was sitting there, Shivaji Park, if I know that most of you have been to Shivaji Park at Dadar. It's a big ground where thousands of people are walking. So this girl started crying because this was a not familiar face to her, and luckily her mother had told her that you should not talk to strangers. So when this man tried to befriend her, right, tried to sit with her, tried to talk with her, she got afraid. She started crying. Watching this, few of the people came over there and they tried to cross question this person as to why are you interacting with the child. Now, when I say that why are you interacting with the child, this kind of question came to this man. He was taken aback. He was not expecting this. The people thought that there is something fishy going on. They asked the child, "Do you know this man?" The child replied in the negative. When the child started crying and started giving answers in the negative, the people, more and more people gathered there. And what naturally happens, they started beating up that man because this child clearly told the people over there that he was there, he was touching me inappropriately, he was trying to befriend me. I don't know this person. My mother has told me very clearly that you're not supposed to talk to strangers, and if one stranger approaches you, you are supposed to raise your voice.
Hello, Patil madam is disconnected.
Disconnected. Hello, Vijay madam.
Yes, sir.
Madam को contact करो, ask her to
Yes,
join again.
yes, yes, yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, madam, you're audible.
I continue with the example that I was telling. So it so happened that the people started beating this man, and the child very clearly told the people over there that he was trying to touch me inappropriately. Now, when this happened, the police were called in, and the matter went to the police. So naturally, when a child is involved, the POCSO Act will come into picture. Now, I received a call at this stage that we don't want the child to be involved in this. We don't want the child to be dragged in this because this matter will go on for and on. So it's a mental harassment for the child. Now, I convince these people very strongly and very firmly that when you go and make a statement before the POCSO courts, it is done in a child-friendly manner. And if you don't put this person behind bars, or if your child doesn't give testimony before the court, जर मुलाने येऊन कोर्टात सांगितलंच नाही तर त्या माणसाची हिंमत वाढत जाणार आहे. So probably this was not the first instance that the man had tried to molest a child, but he might have done previously. But for the fear of the society, many a times we take a step back and we say that we don't want to report to the police. Somebody else might do it. But this is what needs to change. If you have to bring a change to the society, you should be the change, is what I definitely believe in. So when I explain this person, this lady basically, that you need not absolutely fear, because everything will be done in a child-friendly way. Everything will be done as per the child's wishes, and there's nothing that you should be fear of. People are not aware about this. People don't believe that such kind of procedure do exist. And many a times it so happens that, we are influenced by the TV or the movies that we see, and we believe that this is the way the court procedure is. So the way the court procedure is entirely different from what they show in movies or your serials. So it's done, when you speak about the POCSO Act, it's done in a very child-friendly way. The child is made comfortable. The statement of the child, it's recorded not in the presence of the accused. Now, when I say this, I would like to share a slide with you. Now, procedures, when we speak about the procedures and the powers of the special courts, the cross-examination of the child is done through special court. So many a times we believe that, the cross-examination, there's assassination on the child, the character assassination, but that doesn't happen when you go to a POCSO court. And more cases needs to be reported. You should not have the fear that it will tarnish the image of your child or your image as such. Every crime, every scene, every molestation needs to be recorded before the court, and you should go to the special courts. Now, mind you, there are frequent breaks that are given for the child during the trial. So even if the child is not comfortable asking few questions, he is given an interval break where, the parents, he can go and talk to the parents, he can be comfortable. So the comfort of the child is given a primarily importance. Now, the presence of the parents, the guardian, the friend, or the relative of the child is very much there. So one should not fear that my child will be taken to the court and he or she will be all alone. Your presence, the POCSO court says that your presence is very much essential there. And the courts also ensure that the child is not called repeatedly to testify. Now, when I say this, that the child is not called repeatedly to testify, I mean that during the course, that whenever that evidence is given by the child, the courts will try to see that, yes, it's done in one go. Now, when we speak about this questioning or the cross-examination, as I said earlier, there is no aggressive questioning, nor there is character assassination of the child. The identity of the child is never disclosed. It's kept secret at all costs. So you need not fear that even if you give testimony or you give evidence in the court, what will happen to the identity of your child? His friends will, put a finger on him, or the people in your locality will put a finger on him. Oh, that incident happened with the child. So the identity of the child is never disclosed. It's always kept a secret. And only in the interest of the child, the identity can be disclosed, but then the court has to record the reasons in writing. And the court generally doesn't do it unless and until it's a special case wherein, you need to disclose the identity of the child. So the identity of the child here includes not only the identity of the child, but its family, the school, the relatives, the neighborhood. So never ever it will come in the newspapers as such that this child with whom this molestation happened or the sexual incident happened had gone to this school or stays in this locality, stays with this kind of family. So we have the laws which are there for protecting children. It's just that we have to ensure that whenever such kind of incidents do happen, we report it to the nearest police station and don't hesitate, because these molesters or these criminals, we should not give them the courage to commit such kind of incident. And my experience for the last 20 years tells me that whenever an incident of rape happens, there's a previous incident of molestation which the accused had tried and tried successfully. So when we see the ratio also, the kind of cases that happen about rape or molestation or sexual assault, the the number of cases that are reported and the kind of incidents that happen, there's a huge variation in that. So only half of the cases are reported and they don't see the face of the court itself. So it's very much essential to give that kind of confidence to the child, to have that confidence as parents. I strongly believe that there should be a conversation with your child. There should be a conversation at home. Your child should feel comfortable in talking to you or telling you certain things which he would otherwise not tell. Now, many a times when I sit there as a child welfare committee member, there is not one case of sexual assault that happens, but a series of sexual cases, assaults that have happened with a child. And when we ask them in a child-friendly manner as to why didn't you mention this incident to your father or your mother, the answer that we get is really very depressing. They answer that if we tell them, they will not believe us. So believing in your child is very, very important. Believing in your child is very relevant, be it anything. Yes, as a parent, it's your duty to nurture your child. As a parent, it's your duty to put him in a dignified manner or in a proper manner. But at the same time, that child should have confidence in you that tomorrow, and if any untoward incident happened towards him, he should or she should be comfortable in talking to you. And when it's I generally notice that, you know, these kind of incidents do happen on a regular basis, and it's not that it only happens in rural areas. It does happen in urban areas. Just the reporting of the cases, there's a huge difference between that. Now when we speak about this Dombivli case also, the rape that happened with the minor, and it was happening for a period of 9 months. Now, at the first instance, when the rape incident happened and the girl was videographed, now she was given that warning by the accused that if you tell this to anybody, we will leak your information, we will leak your video. Out of that fear, that child had to undergo that traumatic experience for a period of 9 months. Now, this is very sad when we say that. Why didn't the child have the confidence to speak to the mother or the father or probably the relatives? Because the fear was lingering in the child's mind that if I tell them, my videos will be leaked. And at that age, it's very difficult. It's very easy for me and you sitting there as adults to say, oh, you should have gone and reported the thing to the child, to the police or to some of your relatives. But it's very traumatic for the child to actually go and narrate the incident, because they undergo that scar, they undergo that kind of trauma, they undergo that kind of stress at every given point of time. So it's very essential as parents to strike a conversation. And now I feel because of this mobile or the internet thing, everybody is busy in their own lives. Nobody is bothered of what is going around with their child. People are working. The size has been reduced to a nuclear family. You don't have any more grandparents monitoring your child. Or आपण म्हणतो जसं की संस्कार द्यायला घरामध्ये मोठी मंडळी नसतात. आई वडिलांना तसा वेळ नसतो मुलांकडे द्यायला. So in the absence of that, the child is left aloof. And then internet, you have Wi-Fi, you have everything, you all have all the access. And then there are people around out there who are there to exploit your child. So the cases that come to me as a child welfare committee member also, I see girls coming from Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh to Mumbai because a crook on the internet has promised them that I will take you into films, I will take you into serials. And believing that, because there is so much poverty, believing in that I will make a name for myself, or I will send money to my folks who are probably in Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, or be it any part of Maharashtra. I will help them in a way. the child goes out, this minor child goes out, reaches to these crooks. And there are many crooks over there who are there to exploit these kind of children. So the exploitation can be physical, it can be financial, and it can be psychological. So when in Mumbai, I said there are thousands of cases that are reported every month. Many of them who are lured by these kind of promises and they come. So it's very important as a child, as a parent, as a teacher, as a guardian, or as a citizen of this country to protect the children. This attitude should change that, if it's my child, I will protect or I will look for the interest of the child. If it's somebody else's child, I will not look into the matter. It's not my concern. People should get out of this mindset. People should get out of this attitude. And it's very important. It's very relevant. Further going on, when we speak about the Shakti Bill. Now, when we speak about this Shakti Bill, we speak about two aspects of the bill. That is, first, the Maharashtra Shakti Criminal Law Amendment Act of 2020. And we also speak about the implementation of the Maharashtra Shakti Criminal Law 2020. Now, when we speak about these kind of laws, the major recommendations that were there for the Shakti Bill were regarding the amendment in the Criminal Procedure Code, the Indian Penal Code, and the POCSO Act. Now, of course, the best part now, the Shakti Bill has its own pros and cons. First, I'll be speaking about the positive sides of Shakti Bill and thereafter the negatives of it and what are the things that needs to be rectified. Now, this contentious bill proposes stricter punishments, which includes death penalty, such as in the case of rape, acid attack victims, and sexual offenses against children. Okay, so this further also goes on that prison sentences are also given to individuals who defame or threaten women on social media. I'd like to share a slide with you all. Now, when you speak about this Shakti Bill, it speaks about that compelling any women to respond to romantic overtures by threatening her will also draws an imprisonment of up to 3 years with a fine of rupees 1 lakh on the first conviction and an imprisonment of up to 5 years with a fine of 5 lakh in the subsequent instances, according to the draft bill that has been proposed. Now, when we speak about this, compelling any women by any romantic overtures, by threatening her will, such kind of imprisonment is needed. Such kind of fine is needed to send a signal to the people at large that such kind of things will not be tolerated. Now, when you speak about the sexual harassment of women at workplace, this is also a part and parcel that a person being in the dominant position, being in the boss or the manager, takes advantage of the women who is in that position to get exploited. So if you compel any women to respond to your romantic overtures, that is also being punished. Now, if you defame or threaten any women on social media, that is made punishable under the Shakti Act. Now, this includes threatening the women and defaming them on social media or making false complaints about them. Now, restrictions there are to protect the identity of the victims in molestation cases and acid attacks, just like rape cases. So, as I said earlier, when we spoke about the POCSO Act also, the identity of the victims is largely protected. Why? Because the legislature wants people to come in the forefront and speak about it and teach a lesson to these criminals at large. Now, they also speak about the death penalty that has been mentioned. Now, when the Shakti Bill speaks about the death penalty for the punishment of rape, acid attack victims, and sexual offenses against children. Now, my observation is that when a child is sexually abused, generally the exploitation is done by a person who is a part of the family. Now, it may be some distant relative, it may be a friend who is there, it may be a visitor who is regular to the family, or it may be just a person from the neighborhood. So when you speak about death penalty in the case of POXO cases, let's assume that the perpetrator is somebody from the family. So it might be some maternal uncle uh, who has exploited the girl child. So if you provide death penalty and you say that for every POXO case there should be a death penalty, the fear that my uncle will be given death penalty will linger on the child's mind. Now, under the fear that my uncle will be given a death penalty, there are very high chances that the child might not report the incident for the 164 statement the way it has happened to him or her. And when the incident is not narrated by the child, what evidence do you have in court? You don't have any evidence in court. So death penalty, my recommendation would be death penalty. Yes, in the extreme of cases you can have death penalty, but then not in all the cases, because the perpetrators are somehow related to the family. 99% of the cases, my experience that I see as a child welfare committee member or as a lawyer also, 99% of the cases the perpetrator is from the family itself. Now, when you speak about the derogatory content against the women on social media is an easy platform to defame anyone or to make random allegations against someone. So this Shakti Bill proposes a new section to CRPC to deal with the harassment of women through the mode of communication. So any offensive communication through the telephone, be it email, telephone, social media platforms, or through any other electronic evidence digital mode that creates distress, alarm, or is lewd in nature is punishable under this act. So, friends, let me remind you that any offensive communication, be it in any form, you should not fear if you feel that the communication is offensive. Talk to people, go to the police, talk to the lawyers, and any sort of offensive communication should not be carried forward for any cost. He's my boss, he's my manager. How can I talk about it? How can I speak about it? No, it's in your hands as women to put a full stop to all these forwards that come to you. Now, if further the Shakti Bill also says that if a woman is depicted in a very bad way, or she's been shown in a bad frame, that offense is also made punishable. It seeks a maximum prison sentence of 5 years and a penalty of 5 lakh rupees. So compelling any women, showing her in a bad frame is also made punishable under this act. Now, there's a certain investigation and the way the trial should go up for this Shakti Bill is been what has been proposed. Because as we see that, whenever a case comes up for hearing, be it a civil matter or a criminal matter, it just doesn't end up. We have the famous dialogue of Sunny Deol, तारीख पे तारीख, तारीख पे तारीख. आणि असं मराठीमध्ये पण म्हटलं जातं की शहाण्या माणसाने कोर्टाची पायरी चढू नये. But leaving that said apart, or jokes apart, yes, this bill, the Shakti Bill, proposes a speedy investigation. And when we speak about speedy investigation, it has laid down the timeline within which that investigation should be completed. This Shakti Bill is modeled on the way the Disha Act is been there in Andhra Pradesh. And it very clearly says that the trial should take place within 30 days of the commission of that offense. Now, the trial should take place within 30 days of the completing of the investigation, and all is understood. But what the bill further mentions is that the time period for the investigation into the crime against women and children has been reduced to 15 working days. Now, this is a cause of concern. In 15 working days, it's highly impossible to collect that kind of evidence against the accused, because there are a lot of things that are involved, be it the forensic evidence, be it the documentary evidence, be it the oral evidence, be it the seizure of any weapon that takes time. So if there is a time frame which is given as 15 days, things are bound to go haywire. Current investigation complete करायला, the police need time to complete their investigation. And if it's a hodgepodge investigation, it will ultimately benefit the accused and not the victim, which we don't want. So the time frame needs to change, that 15 days, that time frame we cannot complete that kind of investigation. It's highly impossible. From my experience, I tell you that it's highly improbable. Yes, there can be a few exceptions, but not in all of the cases. That to complete the investigation, to collect the evidence, and to produce it before the court. So the time frame needs to have a serious thought about or concern, that yes, how the time frame can be increased to collect the evidence. Now, the bill also speaks about setting up 36 special courts which are pertaining to this offenses against women and children. This is a welcome move. This is a welcome move, and I must tell you that if you have such kind of courts which have been set up exclusively to try the offenses against women and children, it will have speedy justice, because justice delayed is justice denied. And if you have speedy justice, a message can be sent to the society at large that this is the way the justice is delivered. So this proposal of setting up 36 special courts for the offenses relating to women and children is a applaudable thing which has been done by this Maharashtra government. Now, there's also a concept which is called as the presumption of consent, which I don't agree to. Now, this Shakti bill speaks about the presumption of consent also in the offenses of rape, death penalty for those accused of rape and penetrative sexual assault against children, because the Shakti bill presumes that if two parties are adults and their conduct or the circumstances are such which will make the court to believe that consent is there, म्हणजे असं त्यांच्या समोर कोर्टाच्या निदर्शनास आलं की हे दोन जण ऍडल्ट्स आहेत आणि त्यांनी कन्सेंट दिलेली आहे, तर प्रिझम्पशन ऑफ कन्सेंट नावाची एक टर्मिनॉलॉजी त्यांनी त्या शक्ती बिल मध्ये वापरलेली आहे. अँड इफ यू take on this presumption of consent concept, most of the accused will go scot-free. They will walk scot-free, because this is the defense that will be taken up by these people. Yes, she had consented for that act, and we all know that how difficult it is difficult to prove in the court of law that yes, I had not consented. It's not the case that it's impossible to prove, but there are at present, whatever the law is, even in the cases of rape or sexual assault, the consent is a very important concept, and many a times the defense lawyers take up the defense that she was an adult and she's a consenting party to it. If she's a minor, the concept of consent doesn't come into picture. But this presumption of consent, which is there under the Shakti bills, needs to be modified, because there are a lot of people out there who will take up this defense of the consent and they will go scot-free. So this is what needs to change under the Shakti bill. And what I strongly believe is that some of the provisions which are there needs to be modified, needs to be rectified. If that thing is done by the courts, then the Shakti bill can be a very strong bill which protects women as such. I would also like to share a slide with you now. I would like to state here that, women, or the way you bring up your child, you are like tea bags. You never know how strong you are unless and until you're put in hot water. Eleanor Roosevelt has said this, that you're like tea bags. You never know how strong you are until you reach out there, until you be there. So it's very important for you to stay strong. There are many laws that are protecting you. There are many acts that are protecting you. You need to be aware of what is there to protect you, what is there for your thing, and the way it has to be enacted. If there is any injustice that is caused to you, please report it. Don't shy away from reporting, because that is very, very important, that you report any untoward incident that happens with you or as a child. The time is very less, and it's not possible for me to cover each and everything, because there are a lot of laws that are protecting women. The POCSO Act needs to be dealt in detail, but in the given time frame, that whatever was there for me, I've tried to cover each and everything. I would like to thank all the organizers of the Vidya Vikas Education Society for calling me here, for having me here, and making me speak my mind over here on the Shakti Bill or the strengthening of women and the laws protecting women and children. Lastly, I would like to say just a Hindi saying that Nari ek maa hai, uski puja karo. नारी एक बहन है, उसे स्नेह करो. नारी एक भाभी है, उसे उसका आदर करो. नारी एक पत्नी है, उससे प्रेम करो. और नारी एक औरत है, उसका सम्मान करो. Salute to womanhood and salute to all the women who are present here and in the society at large. Thank you for calling me here. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you, Priyanka, madam. Really, what a great, really a very informative session. The information which you gave about the Shakti bill, only we had heard about this bill, but after hearing you, really it has, what you can say, strengthened us legally. I hope that even my friends, my ladies, friends who are present here, they also feel the same. So thank you very much once again, Priyanka, madam. Now I would like to request our friends who are present here, if you have any queries related to Shakti bill, or if you have any question to ask to Priyanka, madam, you can raise your hand and Kulkarni sir will unmute you.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening.
Yes.
Can I ask
Yes,
my question?
Kulkarni madam. Yes, Kulkarni madam. Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Sorry?
madam. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Priyanka, madam,
Yes.
you have given us the example of that girl at Shivaji Park, who was a stranger was trying to, sort of molest her or whatever. And then you said that the parents were not interested in having the girl in the trial. So, in such a case where the parents are not giving the sanction that the child should be also a part of the proceedings and hearings and other things, because that child is the prime, a person who can tell what the incident has happened. Then how do you handle a case like that? जर ती त्या मुलीला घ्यायचं नाही असं पालक म्हणताय तर तिला वगळून तुम्ही केस मिळणार का?
Now, see, once the case is reported to the police, once the accused is there before the police, the police does their procedure. But as a parent, it is very important. And when the parents are reluctant, there are various NGOs that are associated with the police station as well. Now, there are various NGOs that take up this job and they make aware. Now, why this reluctance? As I said in my lecture, that why this reluctance? Because people fear the thing of stigmatization, that my child will be stigmatized or my family would be stigmatized, or the child would be meted out unnecessary torture at the hands of the legal lawyers that are there, that are present there, or the court. So people should be made to understand this is not the way it is. The POCSO courts are established in a very child friendly way. The POCSO courts are there, and when the police comes into picture, they will make them understand the way it is. And this is what happened in the Shivaji Park case also. Luckily, fortunately, I was there, so I could tell them as a child welfare committee member, this is what happens. But the police also played their part, where they made them understand that it's not that if you don't report, the culprit will not be punished. The culprit will, as it is, be punished. But if your child gives a statement against the child, against the accused, the case will be all the more stronger. So, as a parent, what I genuinely feel is that you should have that kind of confidence, or you should have that kind of conversations, or you should have, as a law abiding citizen, you should feel that it is my bounden duty to go and report such kind of things. And the NGOs, mind you, play a very big role in this. There are various NGOs that are associated with the police. There are various NGOs working on those lines. So a person can approach them also, or the police approach these people also, to act as middle persons, because sometimes the parents are not in the frame of mind to understand these things.
I think it is these societal taboos which play a more important role in we ladies. आम्हाला नेहमी काळजी वाटत असते दुसऱ्यांना काय वाटेल समाजामध्ये
Right.
काय नाही. These social taboos also, that this awareness that is needed, and therefore we have had this webinar today, madam. Thank you so
Correct.
much for inviting us and for motivating and encouraging us also. Go to the next question.
Your voice is cracking, but from whatever I can gather, yes, that thing, that mindset of the society also needs to change, and the mindset as people that something will happen to my child or it's not good for the child to go and record also needs to change.
Thank you, Priyanka madam. Anybody else? Teachers and parents who are present, do you have any queries?
If there are no queries, can I ask one more?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
madam. Yes, madam.
Am I clear? Is my
Yes,
voice
yes,
clear?
madam. Yes, yes.
Priyanka madam, a few years back, there was a lot of controversy on what type of clothes young girls should be wearing. Because if they wear provocative clothes, that also can cause some problems. How much do you agree with this statement that young girls?
I absolutely don't agree with this statement, because I have seen a 6 months old child also been raped. I don't understand the mindset of these individuals. I have also seen a 60-year-old lady being raped. So what are the kind of clothes that a 6-month-old child wears? What are the kind of clothes that a 60-year-old lady wears? It's absolutely got nothing to do with these kind of clothes that women wear. It's just the mindset. And that's why I stated that raising your son, or raising the man in your family, or raising the boy in your family, importantly, very well, is very important. Because if the foundation is laid very strong at home, you need not be a super rich family, you need not be the well cultured family, but respecting women, or seeing everybody as your sister, or probably respecting and treating the women as equals, is very, very important. And as parents, I feel that this is the teaching that as a parent or as a teacher you should lay very strongly. Because I have seen many a times the children also don't listen to their parents. So as teachers, you can also lay down this foundation, that how do you look towards a women. So absolutely, the provocation on the count of clothes doesn't make sense to me, because rapes happen to a 1 or 2 month old baby also. So what kind of clothes are there then we're talking about? So basically, it's all about the mindset and the way they look at women, and that needs to change. And our role as a parent is very, very important in all of this.
मॅम,
Yes.
मला एक क्वेश्चन होता याच्यामध्ये की
बोला.
याच्यामध्ये जे प्रोव्हिजन आहे, जर एखादी केस खोटी केस असेल, माझं नाव गणेश बोडके मॅम,
ओके.
NLC, याच्यामध्ये जे पण प्रोव्हिजन आहे त्यातली एक प्रोव्हिजन अशी होती की समजा केस खोटी असेल तर त्यांना 1 वर्षाच्या आसपास शिक्षा होऊ शकते आणि 1 लाखापर्यंत दंड. तर मग जर खोटी केस असेल तर त्याचा अर्थ म्हणजे जो पण पुरुष असेल, लाईक हे नॉर्मली प्रॅक्टिस मध्ये बघितलं जातं की पॉक्सकोच्या केसमध्ये गर्लफ्रेंड बॉयफ्रेंड मुलं आणि मुली असतात, दोघांना एकमेकाशी लग्न करायचं असतं आणि त्यामध्ये असं नसतं की बाबा मुलगा लग्नाचं आमिष दाखवून सर्व करून निघून जातं. तर त्याच्या वेळेस घरच्यांना फक्त आवडत नसतो मुलगा बिकॉज ऑफ एक्स फॅक्टर, तर त्यावेळेस पूर्ण मुलाचं आयुष्य उद्ध्वस्त होऊन जातं. आणि समजा पुढे हे समजलं बाबा ही केस खोटी आहे तर फक्त 1च वर्ष शिक्षा. तर हा पॉइंट थोडासा असं वाटतं की काय बोलू शकाल आपण याविषयी?
आता परवाच एक माझ्याकडे केस चाइल्ड वेलफेअर कमिटीकडे याच लाईन्सवर आलेली होती, त्यामुळे मी ते सांगते की मुलगीचे वडील पोलीस डिपार्टमेंट मध्ये आहेत आणि मुलगी स्वखुशीने किंवा आपण म्हणतो ना स्वतःच्या मर्जीने ती पुण्यामध्ये राहणारी होती आणि ती आली होती मुंबईला. मुलगा मुंबईमधला राहणारा होता. ते दोघं मर्जीने, दोघंही मायनर्स, दोघंही स्वतःच्या मर्जीने इकडे भेटले, 5 गार्डन्सला भेटले आणि त्यांच्यामध्ये सेक्शुअल ऍक्ट काही झाला नाही, पण त्या मुलाने तिचा हात हातात घेतला तिथे. ही किस्ड हर हँड अँड ही किस्ड हर लिप्स ऑल्सो. आता वडील पोलीसमध्ये डिपार्टमेंटमध्ये असल्यामुळे ते 3-4 वेळा आमच्या पुढे आलेले होते आणि त्यांनी सांगितलं की मला स्ट्रॉंग केस मुलाच्या अगेन्स्ट करायची आहे. तेव्हा ॲज अ चाइल्ड वेलफेअर कमिटी मेंबर आम्ही त्यांना क्लिअर कट सांगितलं की जे घडलेलं आहे, ओके, जे घडलेलं आहे ते मुलीने तसंच सांगितलं जाईल. आमच्या पुढे जे स्टेटमेंट रेकॉर्ड केलेलं होतं ते तसंच जाईल आणि तुम्ही कुठल्याही प्रकारचं प्रेशर किंवा अदरवाईज काय सांगायचं नाहीये. कारण मुलीने स्टेटमेंट पोलिसांपुढे किंवा आमच्या पुढे असं दिलेलं होतं की याने असं केलं, पण त्याच्यामध्ये माझी देखील मर्जी होती. पण वडिलांना पोलीस डिपार्टमेंटमध्ये असल्यामुळे त्यांनी त्यांचे इन्फ्लुएन्सेस हे करून ते असं ट्राय करत होते की आपण ह्याच्यावर अजून थोडे ॲग्रवेटेड गोष्टी सांगाव्या किंवा टाकाव्या. आता ह्याच्यामध्ये भीती अशी होती की 164चं जेव्हा स्टेटमेंट होईल तिचं, तेव्हा कदाचित शी मे गो बॅक अँड से की हे एवढंच फक्त झालेलं नव्हतं किंवा अनेक 3-4 इन्सिडेंसेस माझ्या बरोबर झालेले होते. सो इट्स व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट ॲट दिस स्टेज. आता ही केस मी मुद्दामून का सांगितलेली आहे, कारण ती त्याच लाईन्सवर आहे की त्यावेळेस आम्ही जे रेकॉर्ड स्टेटमेंट केलेलं होतं, आम्ही जो हा एव्हिडन्स क्रिएट करून घेतलेला होता, तो खूप इम्पॉर्टंट होता की तो पॉक्सो कोर्टाकडे पण जाणार आणि ज्याच्याने कळेल की त्याच्यामध्ये ऍक्च्युअल स्टेटमेंट तिने जे पोलिसांकडे दिलेलं होतं आणि 164चं स्टेटमेंट अज्युमिंग की इफ शी ऍड्स अप एनिथिंग, तर नॅचरली ह्याच्यामध्ये तिची कन्सेंट असल्यामुळे इट विल ऍक्ट अगेन्स्ट हर. तर ह्याच्यामध्ये पहिली गोष्ट अशी आहे की 18 वर्षाच्या खाली जर काय हे झालं तर त्याच्यामध्ये किडनॅपिंगची केस देखील होते. जरी ती मर्जी असेल तिची, तरी ती किडनॅपिंगची केस होतेच त्याच्यामध्ये. अँड इन सच काइंड ऑफ
बरोबर.
सर्कमस्टन्सेस इट इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट की त्या मुलाने पण तसा एव्हिडन्स समोर कोर्टाच्या देणं किंवा त्यांच्या लॉयरकडे तसं देणे की जेणेकरून याच्यामध्ये दिसेल की ह्या मुलीची पण त्याच्यामध्ये चूक होती. पण अल्टिमेटली इट बॉइल्स डाऊन टू द सेम पॉइंट की 18 वर्षाच्या खाली असेल आणि मुलगी जर घरातनं निघून गेलेली असेल, जरी तिच्या मर्जीने घेऊन गेलेली असेल, तर दॅट कन्सेंट इज नॉट व्हॅलिड. आणि मग जशी आपण म्हटलेलं आहात की त्याच्यामध्ये प्रोव्हिजन ही 1 वर्षाची आहे की फॉल्स एव्हिडन्स दिला आणि काय तो त्याच्यामध्ये सुटतो. मग डेफमेशनचं पण त्याच्यामध्ये प्रोव्हिजन्स आपण करू शकतो की डेफमेशनची नोटीस भरू शकतो. पण फॉर दॅट वी नीड द एव्हिडन्स ऑफ द कोर्ट की हिच्या म्हणजे कोर्टाच्या ऑब्झर्वेशन्स मध्ये असं आलं पाहिजे की हिने असं केलेलं आहे आणि हा खोटी साक्ष देणं हा देखील गुन्हा आहे. सो तुम्ही कोर्टाला ही पण रिक्वेस्ट करू शकता की खोटी हिने साक्ष दिल्यामुळे शी शुड ऑल्सो बी पनिश्ड.
आणि मॅम जे एक वर्ड आहे त्यामध्ये की एक प्रोव्हिजन आहे की समजा कोणी कॉलवर किंवा इलेक्ट्रॉनिक माध्यमातून लाईक ट्रोलिंग वगैरे खूप सारे होतात, तर आपण बघू शकतो युट्यूबवर नॉर्मली ट्रोल केले जातात मुलींना पण, जे इंस्टाग्रामवर इन्फ्लुएन्सर वगैरे असतात, तर त्यांच्यासाठी हा एक चांगला पॉइंट आहे की लोकांचे तोंड बंद करण्यासाठी. ठीक आहे, बट समजा सेम वस्तू जर का मुलांसोबत होत असेल तर मग त्यांनी काय करावं, आणि असे हा लॉ थोडासा बायस
त्यांनी पण एव्हिडन्स
नाही.
क्रिएट करावा. आणि
हो
हे फार
बट असं
इम्पॉर्टंट
असतं.
असतं.
हा
आणि
हा
हे
बोला.
फार इम्पॉर्टंट असतं, कारण काय आहे, जेव्हा एखादी गोष्ट तुम्ही एखाद्या रिलेशनशिप मध्ये असता किंवा काय, चांगलं असताना सगळं चांगलं असतं, पण जेव्हा वाईट जायला लागतात गोष्टी तेव्हा खूप वाईट जातात आणि खूप वेगळ्या लेवलला जातात. आणि मग जर त्याच्यामध्ये फॅमिली इन्व्हॉल्व्ह झाली तर दे मेक वाईल्ड एलिगेशन्स अगेन्स्ट द बॉय. सो त्यावेळेस तुमचा एव्हिडन्स पण तितका स्ट्रॉंग असला पाहिजे की कशी ती पण त्या ह्या गोष्टीमध्ये इन्व्हॉल्व्ह होती. आता जेव्हा मी महेश भूपती टेनिस अकॅडमीच्या वेळेस ऑल इंडिया दिल्लीला लेक्चर दिलेलं होतं, तेव्हा मी हीच गोष्ट सांगितलेली होती की मुली जेव्हा या 18 वर्षाच्या खाली असतात तेव्हा त्या कोचेस बरोबर जरा फ्रेंडली वागणं किंवा त्यांच्या खांद्यावर हात ठेवणं किंवा त्यांच्या प्रेमात असणं, अशा गोष्टी वन वे साईड होतात. तेव्हा ऍज कोचेस ऑल्सो दे शुड बी कॉशियस की ह्या प्रकारचं डिस्टन्स त्यांनी ठेवलं पाहिजे, कारण ते सेक्शुअल हॅरॅसमेंट ऑफ विमेन ऍट वर्क प्लेसच्या डेफिनेशन मध्ये ते येतं. सो एव्हिडन्स तुमचा जो असेल तो जो स्ट्रॉंग इनफ असेल कोर्टामध्ये, तो कोर्ट डेफिनेटली कन्सिडर करतो.
आणि मॅम म्हणजे काही दिवसाआधी मी बघितलं होतं फेसबुकवर आणि फेसबुक आणि इंस्टाग्रामवर मुलीचे म्हणजे ते स्वतःला सांगतात की ते कॉलगर्ल आहेत आणि ते सर्व्हिस प्रोव्हाइड करणार आणि पैसे देऊन ते व्हिडिओ कॉलवर आपल्याला सर्व्हिस देणार असं क्लेम केलं जातं. तर अशा यांना रिपोर्ट करणे, तर रिपोर्ट करणारा पण अडचणीत येऊ शकतो का?
सगळ्यात सायबर लॉज आर व्हेरी मच इन देअर. सायबर लॉज पिक्चर मध्ये आहेत आपल्या इथं, आपण हे रिपोर्ट करू शकता. अँड हे जे ओपन रॅकेट प्रॉस्टिट्यूशन किंवा हे जे चाललेलं असतं ओपनली, दॅट शुड ऑल्सो बी स्टॉप. आणि त्याच्याबद्दल तुम्ही नक्की कंप्लेंट करू शकता. राईट टू इन्फॉर्मेशन ऍक्ट खाली पोलिसांनी पुढे काय केलेलं आहे, प्रोसिजर काय केलेलं आहे, हे देखील तुम्ही फाइंड आउट करू शकता. सो डेफिनेटली करायला पाहिजे.
पण
बिकॉज
त्याच्यामध्ये
हा एक
आपण
मेसेज
त्याच्यामध्ये
क्लिअर कट जाणं.
आपल्याला काही परत असं हे नाही ना की पोलिसांकडून आपल्याला परत काही इजा
नाही, का होणार
जो
तुम्हाला
रिपोर्ट करतो.
का होणार तुम्हाला इजा?
कारण की ते पेजवर आपण पण गेलो होतो, तर असं काही म्हणजे होऊ शकते का?
नाही, मला समजलं नाही आपला प्रश्न. म्हणजे आपल्याला इजा का होईल आपलं असं म्हणणं आहे?
समजा आपण त्याच्यासोबत काय चॅटिंग केलं की आपल्याला एव्हिडन्स भेटावा, बट समजा त्याचा काही वेगळा दृष्टिकोन घेतला तर
टेक फर्स्ट द पोलीस
हा.
इन टू कॉन्फिडन्स. पोलिसांकडे पहिल्यांदा एखादी कंप्लेंट करा की असं असं होते इकडनं, आणि त्यांना सांगा की असं झालेलं. बिकॉज तुमच्याकडनं पण तसा एव्हिडन्स क्रिएट करणं फार गरजेचं आहे. त्याच्यामुळे तुम्ही जर तसा एव्हिडन्स क्रिएट केला तर दॅट विल नॉट बॅक फायर अगेन्स्ट यू.
ओके, थँक्यू.
Thank you, madam. Shubhada, madam Shubhada Deshpande, madam has raised the hand. Hello, Shubhada, madam. Deshpande, madam.
Hello, am I audible, madam?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to share it with Priyanka ma'am, as she said that it is necessary that we should educate the boys or the male students, and it is our duty as teachers and in the educational institutions. I just wanted to share it with you, ma'am. I teach in Vikas College of this institution and Vikas Degree College. And as part of our activities that women development sale, we women develop, every college and university has as per C regulations. And I just want to share that as one of the activities, we every year we conduct gender sensitization programs for boys students, like, you know, where we especially see to it, assure that the boys are, like, you know, counseled, and that way then they are sensitized towards these things. As you rightly said, that we are equal to women, and they are to be considered as sisters and mothers. That's what I just wanted to share it with you.
That's really commendable, and I'm really happy.
Okay, thank you, Deshpande, madam. Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Okay, I think now no more queries. Now I request our chairperson of Internal Complaints Committee, Dr. Megha Shetty, madam, to express her views. Megha, madam. Madam, please unmute. Kulkar.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, madam.
Hello? Yeah.
Yes, madam. Yes.
Good evening, madam. Yeah, respected dignitaries, management representatives, and teachers, parents who are present in this webinar today. And today's eminent speaker, Ms. Advocate Priyanka Patil, madam, Bombay High Court. I welcome you all on the behalf of the Internal Complaint Committee of Vidya Vikas Education Society. Priyanka Patil, madam, discussed all points regarding the Shakti Bill very wonderfully. Thank you, madam. Main aim of this webinar was to create the awareness regarding the in society regarding this Shakti Bill. As we know, the gender statistics in our India, the half of the population is the female population. So, with this gender criteria, we see the crime against the female increasing. Hence, certain laws has come, POSCO Act has come. Now, in spite of that, there are the increase in the crime against the women. So, this law has come, the Shakti Bill. The gender from the sexual as madam explained, the Shakti composed of the stringent punishment against the punishment regarding like death penalty of the rape for the rape, increased quantum of the punishment, and for the acid attacks. So, as a primary step, we are here to constitute an internal complaint committee in our Vidya Vikas Education Society. We have 12 committee members from the each section of the school. They are the ladies, female. They are the representing their sections in the committee. Every 3 months we are conducting the internal committee meetings. What is the need for this internal committee meeting? Committee that I wanted to tell you. First is we should make all female gender aware of this, their rights. They can go ahead and give their complaints to this committee. Second is there is a social stigma facing the society. Give whatever happens to me if my name is disclosed in the community. Then third is the losing the job. So these three things are there. We want to make clear to the this one female gender in the employees who are working in this any offices, any establishment. So internal complaint committee has a right to initiate the inquiry to into the complaint of sexual harassment. So what the internal complaint committee does, they initiate the action against the culprit in accordance with the service rule of the organization. In absence of the sexual service rule, they can terminate the criminal. So we are there to judge the to give the judgment to the female gender. Now I'm going to say that the internal complaint committee is we take the meetings quarterly, like 3 times. After 3 months, we take the meetings every time, and we take the from every section. We take the complaints if any present over there, and we give them the awareness regarding the vigilance. Keep vigilance over the sexual harassment in the our society. So I request to all parents and the teachers or the all the persons in the community to educate your child. Like Madam said, the male child is, you should give him the morals rules. You should teach him the morals of the life, to respect the female gender in the family and the surroundings, and believe the child. Whatever the communication he is going to give you, he is with you. You have to communicate with the child regarding the any incidences he is going through. Then this sexual harassment can be verbal, can be physical. So you should be aware of this, and can be it can be a verbal means they can talk with you in a different manner, or they will touch you in appropriate manner. So we should look for that and make aware your child about the these three different things. On occasion of this webinar, like coming Navratri, I expect that all the females in our society will come forward with this courage in the society, with their if they are going through any sexual harassment, and use this weapon as a Shakti bill for the death, for killing this evil in the community. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Mega Madam. Thank you very much.
Hello,
Uh,
hello, Vijay
yes,
madam.
yes, yes,
I have a
Janki.
question to Mrs. Patil.
Okay,
Can I ask a question, madam?
okay. Before we move on to the presidential speech, yeah, you can.
See,
Yes,
I just
Jan.
wanted to ask Mrs. Priyanka, madam. Just can you say whenever a child abuse or sexual abuse is handled by the police and then it reaches the court of law, whether is there any law to prevent the lawyer from asking embarrassing and stressful questions to the victim? Or in case the accused lawyer is bent upon asking such question, what power does the judge have to penalize the lawyer even after repeated cautions? Like, child abuse or any sexual.
So as I said, any controversial questions or, the character assassination of a child, or, where the child is put in a spot where he or she is uncomfortable, the court doesn't allow the lawyer to ask such kind of questions. There's no penalty as such, because it's a lawyer's duty, to shake the credibility of the witness, be it the victim or any other witness. That's his job. That's his or her job. But then the court has every right, has the power to stop such kind of questioning. And the kind of cases that I've seen that come in the POCSO court, the child is very, very comfortable. The way the evidence is given, the way he gives his statement, or even the way the cross-examination is done. So, you need not fear that, the character assassination of the child will be done, or, the typical cross-examination questions would be asked to the child, where, the child gets confused on certain kind of things. And the prosecutor will do his duty with the kind of cross-examination, the questions that come up, and he has every right to take an objection to that, and he or she will take an objection to that. So it's not only
Thank you,
about
madam,
the
but,
court, but also the public prosecutors, which can raise an objection to it and prevent the child from facing such embarrassing questions.
Yeah, very true, madam. But actually, in our school also, internal community, as Mrs. Dr. Megha Shetty has expressed. But still, what I wanted to just ask is, how far sex education will help in solving the issue of child abuse or sexual abuse?
I didn't get your question.
The sex education, how far it helps in solving the issue of a child abuse?
It definitely helps. See, basically, when we had started with the good touch or the bad touch, and I think your school must have done that also.
Yeah,
Yes,
madam.
yes,
That
madam.
is there.
Yes, so the good touch, bad touch, or the sex education is very, very important, very, very relevant. And this topic about sex should be discussed, should be a part and parcel of the curriculum. Should not be a taboo. The boys also should understand that why a female or why a female child or why a woman undergoes a periods, why does she have the menstrual cycle. All this should be a part and parcel. And as individuals, we or as an institute, we should not refrain ourselves from speaking about it or talking about it. So that should be a normal way of discussion. Oh, this is the topic which we cannot be speaking about in front of the male members or my brother or my father. That should never be the case. That this mindset also needs to change. So when I speak about changing the mindset, this is also an important aspect.
Oh, thank you, madam. Thank you, Vijaya, madam.
Thank you, Janki. Okay, now I think no more questions. Now I invite Srimati Madhavi Nandoskar, Madam, President of today's function, and also the Chief Advisor of Internal Complaint Committee to express her views. Nandoskar, Madam. Nandoskar, Madam. Hello, Nandoskar, Madam.
हॅलो
मॅडम हो
Hello.
मॅडम हो बोला.
प्रियांका मॅडम, सर्वांना नमस्कार. प्रियांका मॅडम, राणे पाटील, लॉयर, बॉम्बे हायकोर्ट अँड फॅमिली कोर्ट. नवीन आलेला हा जो स्ट्रॉंग बिल आलेला आहे त्यापासून कसं प्रोटेक्शन मिळेल, काय करायला पाहिजे, माहिती पालकांना तुम्ही व्यवस्थित दिलेली आहे. पण मुळातच जर असं म्हणजे हे म्हणजे कायदे येतील ते थोडे दिवस त्याच्यावर उपाययोजना केल्या जातात, ते मागे नंतर विस्मरणात राहतं. आता 10 सप्टेंबर रोजी साकीनाका येथे 32 वर्षावरील एका महिलेवरती बलात्कार झाला. गेल्या वर्षी 12 साली निर्भया नावाच्या असं म्हणजे त्या अशा घटना घडतात. आणि हे सगळ्या घटना पाहून ना मन सुन्न होतं. काही दिवसानंतर काही सगळं आलबेल होतं. मग समाजाच्या जडणघडणीत नेमके कुठे चुकतंय, यंत्रणामध्ये कोणती बदल हवेत, तर ते जर झाले पूर्णतः तर काहीतरी फरक पडेल. नाहीतर हे असंच होत राहणार. वर्तमानपत्र उघडलं तरी बलात्कार हिंसेची बातमी असते. 7 महिन्यात जवळजवळ आता 550 म्हणजे माझ्या वाचण्यात आलेले आहेत गुन्हे. आणि बंदीत नंतर झालेले आहेत, पण टाळेबंदीत मध्ये सुद्धा खूप वाढलेले होते. आणि एवढी आकडेवारी आपण ऐकतो आणि हे सगळं ऐकून मन एकदम सुन्न होऊन जातं. एकच प्रश्न वाटतो कधी कधी की एवढी क्रूरता कोठून येते? का तो मुलगा आहे म्हणून, की आपण घरातून कसे वाढलो हे बघून? घरात मुलगा म्हणून विशेष अधिकार मिळालेले असतात. मुली म्हणजे सेवा करणाऱ्या, मुलगा मुलगी हा भेद घरातूनच दिसतो. आणि बलात्कार म्हणजे काय हेही माहित नसतं. स्पर्श करणं हा सुद्धा बलात्कार आहे. तर अशी संस्कृती, आक्रमकता असणं, क्रोध असणं आणि मग ते प्रदर्शन करणं. तर मग घरातनं सुद्धा ना पालकांनी आपल्या मुलाला अशा जेव्हा घटना घडतात त्याच्यावर सेक्सवर बोलू नका, पण एक थोडस असं बोलायला घरात आई वडिलांनी चर्चा करायला हरकत नाही. मग तो मुलगा केवढाही असू दे किंबहुना 5 वर्षाचा किंवा 10 वर्षापासून असू दे, असं जर आपण बोलत गेलो की ही हिंसा आहे, असं करू नये, तर आणि समाजात त्यातूनच काय होतं, समजा समाजामधून हे शिकवलं जातं की विषारी पुरुषत्व, न्यूनगंड असणं. सर्व पुरुष बलात्कार करतात असं नाही हा मॅडम, पण हे पितृसत्तेचं एक वाहक असतात, त्यांना नकार सहन होत नाही. तो जे पुरुष अशी क्रूरता दाखवतात त्यांनाही आई बहीण असते की नाही? आपली आई आणि बहीण ते आपली, आणि दुसऱ्याचं कोणीच नाही का वाटत? ही जडणघडण घरातून होते असं मला वाटतं. का तर माझ्या बघण्यात असं आलेलं आहे की वडील येऊन दारू पिऊन आईला मारतात, बाहेर काढतात, थोबाडीत देतात, शिव्या घालतात. हे सर्व म्हणजे घरातल्या बाईला दुय्यम लेखणं हे लहानपणापासून मला वाटतं मुलं शिकतात. आणि तसं पाहिलं तर घरापासून
Madam, you are muted. Nandoskar madam.
नांदोसकर मॅडम, तुमचं माईक म्यूट झालेलं आहे.
Unmute करा मॅडम, unmute करा.
ओके 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 चला. मग
कॅमेरा
कुठपर्यंत आले? मी सांगितलं तुम्हाला की समाजामधून हे शिकवतात. हे आलं का? विषारी पुरुषत्व, न्यूनगंड असतो, सर्वच पुरुष बलात्कार करतात असं नाहीये. एक सत्तेचं वाहक आहे पूर्वीपासून, त्यांना नकार सहन होत नाही. जे पुरुष अशी क्रूरता दाखवतात त्यांनाही आई बहीण असते. आणि दुसऱ्याची ती आई, आपली ती आई बहीण आणि दुसऱ्याची ती कोणीच नसते का? ही जडणघडण ना घरातून द्यायला पाहिजे. घरातून सुद्धा बघा, आईला मारतात, हे लहानपणापासून मुलं बघतात. शिव्या देणं, आईच्या थोबाडीत देणं लहानपणापासून बघितलं असल्यामुळे आपणही असंच, कारण लहानपणच्या गोष्टी असंच करायचं असतं का? जास्त शिकवण मिळते. शेजारी, गाव आणि अशा ठिकाणी सुद्धा मुलं ही बघतात आणि तशी वागतात. तर चित्रपटातनं सुद्धा असंच सीन दाखवतात. मग त्यामुळे काय होतं की नायक नायिकेचा पाठलाग करतो, स्पर्श करतो, स्त्रियावर मालकी हक्क दाखवतो. काही वेळा तरुण वर्ग आपल्या आयुष्याचा भाग म्हणून स्त्रीकडे बघतात. एखाद्या वेळी जर समाजात असे काय घडले तर मुलगा आहे तो, चूक झाली असं कौतुकही करतात. तर मला असं वाटतं बलात्काराचं मूळ हे संपूर्ण नष्ट होण्यासाठी घरातनं शिकवण दिली पाहिजे आई वडिलांनी. ती कशी? सेक्सचं शिक्षण देऊ नका, तर कसं मुलांनी वागावं किंवा बाहेरच्याची चर्चा करावी. गरज असतं असं नाही, चित्रपटामधून सुद्धा असंच दाखवलं जातं आणि तेच पण ही मुलं शिकतात, मुली शिकतात. तर त्याच्यावर चर्चा हवी. स्त्रीवर असे अत्याचार करू नयेत. मग मुलांना आपोआप समजलं जातं. शाळामधूनही नकळत शिक्षकांनी त्या नेमक्या एखाद्या घटनेला हात घालू नये, पण अशी चर्चा, काल काय झालं, असं झालं ह्याच्यामध्ये, मग हे योग्य आहे का असं करणं. आपल्याला पण आई असते, आई असते, आपल्याला बहीण असते, मावशी असते. अशी जर शाळेमधून जर म्हणजे शिक्षकांनी त्या वेळेला जर मुलांच्या वरती प्रबोधन केलं तर म्हणजे मुलांना कळतं लहानपणापासून हे वाईट आहे, हे आपण असं करू नये. मग ते समजतात. आणि मुलींनीही जरा सावध असावं, कारण मुली सुद्धा काय कमी नसतात. भडक कपडे करणे, अंगभर कपडे न घालणे, जाता जाता सावध. माझ्या मुलीने जाता जाता सुद्धा आता असं असलं तर मग लोक म्हणजे पुरुष बघणारच. जाताना सावध असणं हे मुख्य हे आहे त्यांचं. कशाही म्हणजे मगाशी सांगितलं की कशाही वागतात. तुम्हीच म्हणालात नाही का की खांद्यावर घालतात, हात घालतात, लगट करतात. आणि मग आई वडिलांनी सुद्धा काही गोष्टी अशा नकळत चिडून नाही किंवा काही नाही, किंवा असं नाही की सगळ्या समजूतीच्या गोष्टी सांगाव्या. कायदे खूप केलेले आहेत, बदल पण होतात, पण गरज आहे ती अंमलबजावणीची. क्रूरता असू नये. पण स्त्री ही एक मानव आहे असं घरातनं, शाळेतनं, समाजातनं असं दाखवलं तर कदाचित ही ह्याचं मुळापासून हे नष्ट व्हायला पाहिजे. तर ते लहानपणापासूनच, नाही तर हे असंच घडत राहणार, कायदे होणार आणि कायद्यातनं फायदे मिळणार, पण हे बरोबर नाही. आपली आई तशी दुसऱ्याची आई, आपली बहीण तशी दुसऱ्याची बहीण, ही क्रूरता कुठून येते आणि का असावी? थोडा विचार का केला जात नाही पुरुषांनी? म्हणजे त्याला म्हणजे पुरुषच हे नसतात, तितक्याच बायका पण असतात. पण असं असल्यानंतर मग बघा आपण आपली शक्ती तशी कमी पडते पुरुषाच्या मनाने, आणि त्यामुळे ह्या अशा घटना घडतात. तर मला वाटतं उघडपणे कोण बोलत नाही घरात सेक्स वरती किंवा शाळेमध्ये किंवा काय, पण चर्चा करायला काही हरकत नाही लहानपणापासून. की लहान मुलं सुद्धा पटकन जाणून एकमेकाचा गालगुच्चा घेतात, पण का घेतात ते कळत नाही आपल्याला. आजच्या घरातल्या सगळ्या गोष्टी बोलत असतात मुलं, छोटी 3-4 वर्षाची. तर घरातही सगळ्या म्हणजे मुलांच्या देखत काय होईल किंवा काय असं मुलांनाही दिसता कामा नये. जर असं समाजातनं, घरातनं आणि चित्रपटातनं आणि जर कमी होईल तर लहानपणापासूनच त्यांच्यावर उपचार करावेत, म्हणजे इतकी ही क्रूरता येत नाही असं मला मॅडम वाटतं. तुमचं काय म्हणणं आहे?
अगदी बरोबर आहे. आणि आपण जे बोललेला ते व्हॅलिड पॉइंट्सच आहेत. कारण केसेस तर दिसत आहेत आपल्याला, होत आहेत. आणि मग केसेसचा डेथ पेनल्टीची पण प्रोव्हिजन इंडियन लॉ मध्ये आहे. त्याच्यावर बरीचशी टीका पण होते की वेदर आर यू इन अ पोझिशन टू टेक द राईट ऑफ लाईफ ऑफ समवन. कॉन्स्टिट्युशनल राईट्स बद्दल आपण बोललो जातो. पण ते सुद्धा असून सुद्धा रेप आज थांबलेले आहेत का, किंवा सेक्शुअल अब्युज हा थांबला आहे का? तर जसं मी माझ्या लेक्चरमध्ये पूर्णपणे म्हटले की माइंडसेट हा चेंज होणं गरजेचं आहे. आणि जर ती हिंसा तो मुलगा आपल्या घरातच बघत असेल की आपल्या आई बरोबर होताना बघत असेल, तर त्याला वाटतं दिस इज अ नॅचरल वे ऑफ लाईफ. सो त्याच्यामुळे हा माइंडसेट आपल्या मुलांना चांगलं घडवणं आणि आपल्या समाजासाठी देणं ही प्रत्येकाची एक नैतिक जबाबदारी आहे, आणि ती प्रत्येकाने पार पाडलीच पाहिजे. आणि मग असा समाज बदलेल.
हो, मग शिक्षकांनी, आई वडिलांनी.
डेफिनेटली.
बरं, मला एवढंच बोलायचं होतं.
Thank you, madam. So Nandoskar madam has really given us the message that how the children, boys as well as the girls, how they should be brought up in the family, what all things should be taught even to the boy children, and what all things the teachers also should teach in the school. Okay, now I would like to invite Sujata Godke madam, member of ICC, to give the vote of thanks. Sujata madam. Kulkarni sir, please unmute Sujata madam. Sujata madam, you can unmute and can speak. Yes, yes. You are audible, yes. Yes, lot of disturbance.
It's not from my side, madam.
Yes, madam.
Good evening. When I'm not present here, my husband is शक्य करून दाखवणार.
Madam, you are not clear. You are not clear, Sujata madam. I think your earphone.
Hello, madam. Madam, please.
Earphone is not adjusted.
Yes, yes. Earphone you just adjust properly, no?
Hello. Is it okay, madam?
No, madam, not very clear.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Very clear now. Yes.
Okay. Good evening,
Yes.
one and all present here. Myself, Swata Ghudke, going to deliver vote of thanks. स्त्री म्हणजे एक वाट, अशक्य ते शक्य करून दाखविणारी, स्वसुखाचा त्याग करून इतरांच्या सुखासाठी धडपडणारी, अन्यायाला न्याय मिळवून देणारी. आजच्या या वेबिनार मध्ये स्त्रियांना कायद्याने प्राप्त झालेल्या अधिकारांची सविस्तर माहिती आपल्याला मिळाली आहे. त्याबद्दल ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ विद्या विकास एज्युकेशन सोसायटी अँड स्वामी शामानंद एज्युकेशन सोसायटी, I would like to thank Sri P.M. Rao sir, Chairman of Vidya Vikas Education Society, our inspiration and patron, for his strong support. I thank late Srimati Vidya Raut Madam, being a woman. Ma'am always supported and motivated women's empowerment. Today, I am sure that we all felt her presence throughout the program. I thank Dr. Vinay Rao sir, Secretary of Vidya Vikas Education Society, for taking initiative to build and strengthen this program. I thank Advocate Priyanka Rane Patil, speaker of today's webinar, for giving detailed knowledge about the PASCO law and Shakti bill introduced in 2020 for women rights and to enhance legal women's empowerment. I thank Srimati Madhavi Nanduskar, Chief Advisor of ICC, for always helping us to analyze pros and cons of different problems that are arising in internal complaint committee. Moreover, about the need of values to be inculcated from our own house. I thank Dr. Megha Shetty Madam, Chairperson of ICC, for addressing implementation of the policies related to the prevention of sexual harassment in ICC. I thank Srimati Manisha Shinde Madam, Trustee of Swami Shamananda Education Society, for always being with us in all the circumstances. I thank Srimati Lata Kulkarni and Srimati Jaya Deshmukh Madam, Management Representative, for helping us to identify our abilities and giving opportunities to utilize it. I thank Mrs. Reshma Chitnis, Legal Advisor of ICC, for giving such an intelligent, dynamic, and well-versed speaker in legal matter. I thank Mrs. Vijaya Radhakrishnan, Presiding Officer of ICC, for proper planning, organization, and executing this webinar. I thank all HM, supervisor, teacher, non-teaching staff of all sections of Vidya Vikas Education Society. I thank Kulkarni sir and his technical staff for smooth functioning of this webinar. Last but not the least, all my students, and I thank all my parents also for their presence. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Sujata madam. Thank you very much. So once again, Priyanka madam, thank you very much for accepting the invitation and for this wonderful lecture. Okay, with that we have come to the end of the session. Thank you one and all.